You never know. Tom Selleck uses that phrase a lot. And the first time I read that his memoir opens in the middle of a car crash at 17, I froze. I grew up watching Magnum chase bad guys in Hawaii and Frank Reagan hold a family together at that Sunday dinner table. But what about the man when the camera cuts? What did he carry that we never saw? Hey, I'm Sarah Reed, and this is Golden American Legends. Today, we're going to the quiet, tender places of Tom's life. The parts wrapped in courage, faith, and yes, some heartbreak. I remember my dad flipping channels and stopping on Magnum PI. That mustache, the tiger's cap, the easy grin. It felt invincible. But the real Tom didn't feel invincible. Not after a teenage joyride turned into twisted metal and a we almost didn't make it moment that hangs over your life forever. Not after contracts that shut doors he dreamed of walking through. And not after family pain that he almost never talks about, because dignity matters more than headlines. If you love Magnum or Blue Bloods, stick with me. We'll celebrate the wins, but we'll also sit with the losses. And I promise by the end, you'll see why Tom's greatest role might be the one far from any set. Husband, father, steady soul. Ready to look past the legend and meet the man? I didn't expect Tom Selleck's story to start with broken glass. But at 17, it did. A cheerful road trip turned to a brutal car crash that almost took them all. Everyone survived, but moments like that change you. They make you humble. They make you listen for the next right step. Tom was born in Detroit in 1945, raised in California by a hardworking family. His dad ran a service station. They moved a lot. Money wasn't fancy, but the values were. At USC, Tom had a baseball scholarship. Then the shoulder gave out. Dream over. That could have been the end of the story. Instead, it was the pivot. He took odd jobs, modeled for ads, did bit parts, even sat there as a bachelor on the dating game. Can you picture Magnum on a cheesy game show? I laugh every time I think of it. But that's the grind, the unglam things that slowly build a life. During the Vietnam era, he served in the California Army National Guard. Again, humility, discipline, perspective. The spotlight wasn't the goal. Survival and service were. When I look at young Tom in those early photos, I see a guy who learned early that nothing is promised. That's the seed of his strength. And it sets up everything that came next. Confession. I had a Magnum PI poster in my college office. The 1980s made Tom Selleck a rocket. Hawaii's sun, the Ferrari, that mustache that should have had its own credit. It wasn't just a show. It was a cultural mood. Tom's Thomas Magnum was charming, decent, a little mischievous. And boom, overnight, global fame. But here's the part I always come back to. The doors that open can lock others shut. Because of contracts, Tom had to pass on roles, including the legendary What If of Indiana Jones. Imagine wearing the fedora and cracking the whip, then imagine being told you can't. That's a special kind of heartbreak, the professional kind, where you watch a train you're meant to ride pull away. When his Magnum contract ended, he stepped off the mountain by choice. Risky. The films didn't roll in right away. It took time, patience, and a lot of no's before Yes looked like Three Men and a Baby and other wins. Tom has said his career felt accidental. Less master plan, more play the hand with integrity. That's why this chapter matters. Fame crowned him, but it also tested him, and he kept choosing character over hype. That choice would define the rest of his life. This is the part where I slow down. Behind the grin, Tom was just a man trying to build a family. He married actress Jacqueline Ray in 1971. They loved, they tried, and they faced something almost unspeakable. Reports say they lost a baby around 1980. He's never made a spectacle of that grief. And maybe that silence says everything. Some heartbreaks live in a private room of the heart. The marriage ended in 1982. No blame games here. Life is complicated. Then came Jilly Mack. They married in 1987, and I love this part of the story. She wasn't chasing red carpets, she was building a home with him. Together, they raised kids with intention. Tom adopted Kevin, and later their daughter Hannah became the bright center. Horses, ribbons, that radiant smile. But even there, the path wasn't all smooth. Media have noted Kevin struggled in his youth, and there were whispers of health scares for Hannah when she was small. Tom's line in the sand was simple: family first. He has said he learned to say no to work if his child needed him more. Have you ever had to turn down something big because the people you love needed you? It hurts. and it heals. This is where I think Tom's greatness lives. He keeps the camera off when it's about his kids. He protects them. That's old-fashioned. And honestly, it's beautiful. I have a soft spot for people who choose the quieter road. Tom and Jilly left the buzz and settled on a 65-acre ranch in Ventura County. Horses, dirt under your nails, sunsets that make you say thank you. He talks about having a lucky life, and I believe him. Not because luck just happens, but because gratitude does. Friends call him kind. Co-stars say he's steady. He's talked about faith, about almost studying for the priesthood, about going to church, and about living by a code. In a town that loves spectacle, he picked privacy. No scandal reel, no messy headlines. Just a man who turns down roles that don't fit his values and shows up for veterans and horse rescues without a press parade. I picture him at dawn, feeding, checking fences, then heading into town like any neighbor. That's the energy he brings to roles, the moral spine you can feel even when he doesn't say much. And here's the twist. The tragedy in Tom's life isn't a tabloid disaster. It's the quiet ache of things lost and the daily courage to live well anyway. That's integrity you can't fake. And it leads us to the chapter that made a whole new generation fall in love with him. Blue Bloods arrived in 2010, and suddenly Tom was at the head of the Reagan table. NYPD commissioner, father, grandfather, the anchor who says grace and the hard truths. I remember watching that family dinner and thinking, this is his natural habitat. Dignity with a human heartbeat. Over more than a decade, he led that cast with the same steadiness people talk about offset. When the series wrapped in 2024, it felt like the end of an era. On screen, Frank Reagan carried grief with that quiet weight Tom does so well. Off screen, Tom was reflective and a bit playful. He joked he's ready to saddle up again, maybe in a Western, maybe with a Taylor Sheridan project. 80 is a number, it's not his finish line. He's releasing his memoir, You Never Know, and that title nails the point. He didn't plan the crash, the missed roles, the family trials, or the second wind on CBS. He just kept choosing the next right thing. That's a legacy. Magnum's charm, Reagan's honor, and the man on the ranch who knows what matters. Before we wrap, tell me, what's the Tom Selleck moment that stayed with you the longest? Magnum's smirk, a Blue Blood's grace, or something else? Here's my takeaway. The tragedy of Tom Selleck isn't a fall from grace. It's the human ache inside a life lived with grace. Car crashes, closed doors, private losses, and the daily work of love. And still, at 80, he stands tall, devoted to Jilly, proud of Hannah, grateful for the ride, and ready for one more saddle up. That's the kind of legend I want to celebrate. If this story moved you, tap like and share it with another Magnum or Blue Bloods fan. Drop a comment. What chapter of Tom's journey inspires you most? And if you're new here, I'm Sarah Reed, and this is Golden American Legends, where we reframe the icons with heart and context. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story. We've got more legends coming, and I want you at the table. Thanks for watching. From my desk of old TV guides and coffee rings to your screen, stay kind, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one on Golden American Legends.